Right, hello everyone. Welcome to STB League Season 22 for the Belgian Grand Prix Tier 3 here at Spa-Francorchamps. We tried to stream a couple of times with Pistol. Just check the stream, Pistol, just really quickly before we get going. It's good? Okay, yep, so we had a couple of issues, obviously Pistol trying to stream and it's given us a black screen. It switched to me. I'm now the streamer and it is working, so that's very good. So third time the charm with a new person. Oh, Maldi just went full speed into the pit. This pit box stopped perfectly. Let's get everything back up. So yeah, let's get your qualifying grid, which we did. No, actually, I think we actually managed to get through. Side effects, Bentley, Yilmaz, Alpha Z, Yohama, Kawai, the Rafita, David, Methodor, Papadels, Tuman, and Chaos, and Mancho. And we've got majority of the cars on hards, some on mediums. But yeah, we've got Chaos, there. We've got obviously Pistol in the com box, and we've got to go lights out.
Yes, there's a glitch. I've red lights. Green light, go, 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 here in STB, in Spa-Francorchamps. That's a great start for the Red Bull, but look at Maldi, looking for the outside of his teammate going into turn one. He's not going to be able to get the grip to complete the move, but he's going to get a better exit on side effects due to that little wobble on the exit from side effect, and Maldi's able to pick up an easy position on said side effects. Going into the Camel Straight, this is so key for getting overtakes. So many times you can just see the slipstream, the ERS, Huseman, just literally dominating the car ahead. Yilmaz falling down positions. He's down into P13 in the Grand Prix now. Memo moving up a position on Elite Ping, and you can see Diva there going down the inside, around the outside actually of Toman. You can see Mad Max's little time telemetry thing is just a little bit glitched at the moment as side-by-side action going into the right-hander between Side Effects and Maldi. Maldi on the outside lane, Side Effects on the inside. Oh, that's a very dangerous place to look for an overtake. And with the costly price, and Maldi has gone round due to that very silly mistake of trying to go down the inside through that left-hander. It was never going to work.
Got no front wing.
And Rafita, I think it's Memo also the next man to go round in this Spa-Francorchamps Grand Prix. Jemo outside lane to Alpha Z's, outside lane.
Push off the circuit.
Push off the circuit there from Alpha Z. You can just see Man Maxwell behind. He's almost battling it out with Elite Ping. He has a wobble on the exit. Maldi instantly picking up a position on Yilmaz, trying to climb back up the order after his silly mistake for going down the inside in such a tricky left-hander to give space. Mad Max getting very close here to Alpha Z, just up ahead. Could he look for it? Going into the bus stop chicane, looking for that outside lane. There we go, side by side between the two drivers. But it looks like Mad Max will not get the overtake completed. Side effects with the fastest lap time on the first lap. And my little interval things glitched for both Elite Ping and Mad Maxwell for me, as Mad Max is going down the inside on Alpha Z, but Alpha Z is able to recover his mistake going into turn one. So far, what have you made of this Grand Prix, Mafia?
I can't make show of a Grand Prix so far. It's only been one lap, but it's certainly been interesting. Obviously, we had contact at no name with Maldi and Side Effects. Obviously, Maldi get caught out on the insides, and obviously, in this game, the front car always tends to win with a rear wheel. Obviously, Maldi was round. We've got obviously Yilmaz and Papa that was in the pits. Yilmaz with the front wing disappearing. Not sure where the contact was from. A couple cars going side by side here. I think it's Chaos and David, or Chaos and Rafita. I'm not sure which one it was. David and Toman actually. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But now Jamo's up into P2. He's had a great start.
Yeah, and that really damages Maldi's chances of extending the gap in championship standings. He's only P11 right now, needing to climb up the order just one more position. He has his eyes set on Matador here to try and get back into the points. Very poor start for him. And, well, that move down the inside on Side Effects, it was never going to work, and therefore he paid the costly price of going round. Maldi, he's not used too much of his ERS. I think he just knows that he is quicker than the cars ahead of him right now, and that he doesn't necessarily need to use all of his ERS. He's using a little bit down the straight here to try and get past Matador. He's going to swiftly and quickly go alongside with him. I'm sure of it, going into the bus stop chicane. Red Bull versus Ferrari potentially. It actually seems that Maldi's slipstream off of Matador might actually not be enough. Down the inside going into the bus stop chicane. That's a very big big dive. And Maddie going to take the outside lane going into the next turn of 2 in that bus stop chicane. Maybe looking for the inside lane going into turn 1. Is he too far back? No, he isn't. Down the inside, a little bit of contact going into that first turn, and some more contact to Matador. Then Matador getting a bad exit, and he's round. And would you just say that was a bit of an ambitious move there by Maldi, causing that spin?
Say so. I think Matador did turn in initially, and Maldi landing on the side. I think Matador, he didn't open up his steering up as Maldi went past, and he basically just grazed him. And then Matador, he had 2 stabs to the throttle there. He stabbed it once, had a moment, then recovered, and then went back on the throttle again, then lost it. So I think initially his spin in the end was just a complete driver error in the end.
Well, Max getting very close to JMO here. JMO, of course, being P2 in the standings, and comparing both their ERS usage is pretty much the exact same. So it's interesting to see the battle. The thing is, though, if you're David right now in P7, you've got a little bit of a train behind you, and you're without DRS or ERS. Well, you've got ERS, of course, but if you've got no DRS, going onto that straight, you're going to get eaten alive by the slipstream, by the DRS, and Alpha and Elite Ping. Well, a little bit drive up between the 2 drivers, and therefore Alpha Z has been spun by Elite Ping. He's now dropped down into P8 or P9 now, as Maudi was able to.
Maudi's got a legal overtake.
Yeah, a legal overtake there for Maudi. He's had to give the position back on Alpha Z, and that really hurts his chances even more of climbing up more positions.
Right, still got 1 place from that, so it's not in the world. I should be very annoyed with that, but you'll have to move on. But we will get DRS down here, I'm sure, but things Alpha Z will do as well.
Well, sorry, my controller disconnected.
He's on the back of Gemma, making a move. Breeze past, yeah. Look at the speed he's got. Almost by Jammer's carrying a little bit more downforce, equaling a little bit more drag. Excuse me.
It looks like Chaos pressuring David here. He's going to get switched back for it. Gets the overtake. It wasn't the cleanest of switchbacks. Did make a bit of contact on his way for that overtake, but nevertheless, he's up into P5 in the Grand Prix right now. Very good result so far for Chaos. Of course, that 3-second time penalty emerging for Elite Ping means that if he is able to close the gap down by 1.6 seconds, therefore, it would allow him to actually get 4th place in the Grand Prix. But going back to this JMO versus Mad Max, well, actually, no, we're going to switch over to Maudi here. He's 1/10 and 50 milliseconds behind, so he's now 3/10 behind. But Maudi, I mean, just to display the kind of pace he has against these other drivers up ahead, like when he had that moment where he had to give the position back to Alpha Z, he's instantly now closed the gap down. He's only 400 milliseconds away from, sorry, 4/10 away.
Around the back. Memo.
And Memo spinning on that right hand, maybe getting a little bit too much of that inside curb, and therefore falling fatal to said inside curb and spinning, and also Papa's round as well, ghosting off the track. Looks like Alpha's looking for a move. Yeah, and now here's Maudi looking for a switchback maneuver, but it looks like Alpha is able to cover it off. Going into the first turn, Alpha versus Rafita. Who's going to get the better of who? Ran the outside, I think Alpha's going to look to go. No, he looks up. But still, he's able to get that outside lane. Can Maudi pick up a free position off of this? Currently, right now, he's already got that free position due to that 3-second time penalty, but it's better to get it on track, considering he needs to chase down for the top gunners. Switching over now to David, trying to get the overtake here on Chaos. Look at the speed that David has got, as Maudi now finally gets that overtake on Alpha Z down that straight. Here comes Rafita on, look at that pace down the inside. He's looking to go 2 on 1, 3 right going into the Lecon section here, into the left-hander. And you can just see Maudi now taking that outside lane. That might be a legal overtake. We're not too sure of that. No, it's not. They're still side by side. That is great stuff. 3 wide going into Lecon. Absolutely fantastic racing. And then we've got Rafita versus Alpha Z. This is the turn where Maudi tries to go down the inside on side effects and spun because of it. Looks like those two go unscathed from that turn, and Alpha Z picking up the inside line on what a crucial turn that is and gets the easy overtake. Maudi looking to tee up on Demon now, maybe down the inside here. Ooh, that was a little bit dangerous. And I think Maldi's just getting a little bit too ambitious to try and get past these drivers. He needs to slow himself down.
Yeah, almost lost the rear end as well. He's a bit agitated at the moment because obviously he had a big struggle because obviously he's been stuck behind this bit of a DRS train. He's not managed to break it up, which actually is a good thing because now it just makes his life a little bit easier when it comes to the overtakes.
Well, he's looking to get past Steven here. He's got a good rundown going in on the Williams. We've seen him get a massive send down here before. He's going to look for it again. Is he going to get the room? No, he's not. He was just a little bit too far back.
If he can get his overtake done,
the brakes as he should have been.
If he can get his overtake done, David, then he can carry on straight on to chaos. But obviously, David's got no ERS left. This late light, he's already flashing.
Got to switch our attention though over to JMO. He's looking to get past Mad Max. Can he get the overtake here on the Red Bull DRS wide open? I don't think it's going to get the overtake like you just.
He's barely even gaining at the time though.
I think that's so key. And there you go, Maldi. Look at the pace he's got with that DRS, ERS usage. The Williams just has to wave goodbye to the Ferrari, and now Maldi up into P6 of the Grand Prix so far.
Yep, next one for Maldi is Chaos. Maldi's showing his pace, but how much time he's lost already? He's already about 8.5 seconds behind, 9, 10. He's about 13 seconds behind his teammates. So it's going to be a big ass for Maldi unless he gets a safety car, unless Maldi can have some good pace and some possible. Hey, Alpha Z almost hits the barriers and accident No Name as Rafita's round at No Name. Alpha at Haas on the grass. That rhyme did not meant to go to plan, but it did.
So that was actually a beautiful rhyme. A beautiful rhyme from Matthew. Potentially a beautiful overtake for JMO as he's looking to close down that gap on Mad Max going into the bus stop chicane. Can he use a little bit of his ERS? I think comparing the ERS usage between Mad Max and JMO, Mad Max has just used a lot of ERS comparing to JMO. Almost JMO having double the amount of ERS that Mad Max has, and so it's really going to damage his chances for the long run of keeping this P2 Mad Max. All he's trying to do is just get without that DRS zone going onto the Camel Straight, but so far it's not working. We're going to still keep our eyes on this.
Passing time penalty for David. What's he doing?
Not too sure what that was.
The bus stop came, but I don't know how or why he did it.
I think we're going to look back here over to JMO. Is he going to catch up more over to Mad Max? I don't think he will. Look at Maldi's pace though. Look how close he's getting to Chaos going into Eau Rouge. Here we go. DRS going to go wide open as well as its DRS. Mercedes versus Ferrari into the Camel Straight. Are they going to carry this out, stretch it out into Le Combs? They're still side by side, edging closer and closer to that right-hander. They do go side by side. Chaos is round.
There was no contact
I don't think there was any contact. I do think it was just he took the inside curb a little bit too much. He now resets the track. That is just poor for Chaos. I mean, I don't think he really deserved that.
And there's rain.
There is rain?
The rain is here. They did say there'd be some rain. I don't know why actually. If the rain came coming this early, I'd be surprised that people went onto hards. If the rain's coming down, to be honest. That is very surprising. I mean, if you predicted this to be this early and you went on softs, I mean, you'd be living in dreamland right now. But the softs are pushing it.
There's definitely rain coming down on the track. But yet again,
I'm surprised people didn't all go mediums. If they would have saw the rain coming part of the race, unless they thought it was going to be a little later. I don't know, but I'm surprised there's people who go mediums. So people know the mediums can do a good 12 laps. So I'm surprised people think they should do it. And Jamo's already in. Jamo's also retired from the session. The event might be a crash.
That might be a safety car.
It is a safety car. It's a safety car. And Jamo's just pitted. And he's He's given him a glitch start and he's gone into the intermediates.
So it seems like a memo there. Just with that right-hander, just something he couldn't get right. I think it was somebody else also spinning there. Might have been a Haas car, I'm not too sure. But that right-hander, if you take a little bit of inside curb there, it is deadly. You will spin. That is 100% true. What did Maldi go on? What tyre?
He's on intermediates.
Yeah, he did go on the intermediates. So I thought it was like soft for a second.
Alpha's on intermediates. Toman's on intermediates. Monto's on set mediums. That might be a mistake. He wouldn't go on mediums again. Mafita's also on set mediums as well.
Do you think this is actually good for Maldi, this situation, or do you think this is kind of coming out
Well,
at the
first of all,
wrong
he's
time?
going to catch up. Not the end of not this lap, but next lap, because obviously he does have needs to catch up to the safety car first. So Maldi won't get like a cheap pit stop. The guy he will, everyone will get their cheap pit stop as well. But I'm sure everyone else will pit for intermediates anyway. Li Ping's pretty much stopped on circuit. It's probably getting over speeding a bit late, speeding under the safety car. So yeah, I'm surprised people didn't go for mediums at the start of the race. I think maybe people just played it safe. But yeah, people will definitely pit for intermediates. So whether regardless of pit last lap or going to pit this lap, it's not going to change anything really, because everyone's running a delta anyway. So no one's going to be losing or gaining time unless you're that close to each other, and then one of you pit, and then somehow one of you pit, get ahead, just because they managed to just explore the delta a little bit more than the other one. Taman's going to drive-through penalty. It's so easy sometimes, and it's intermediates as well. I mean, sometimes it is easy to get lost. Sometimes if you're trying to think of what to try to do and what's happening, if you get distracted, sometimes you can easily. It's happened to me once, a couple times before, where you're trying to do things. You're trying to check with Jeff of like when the weather's coming, or whether what people around you doing, or you're flicking through your car information, your MFD. And then a quick 10 seconds later, you've looked up and gone, oh shit, and you got a penalty. And Sign Effects is in, intermediates, yeah, everyone's in for intermediates. Now Chaos has just smashed into the barriers as he's come in.
Well, these are going to be 3 positions for Baldi then, granted. Of course, it's under the safety car, but you can overtake, of course, people going to the pit lane.
For Chaos?
No, he's just waiting. Is it?
Yep, set mediums for Chaos. I don't think. Again,
that's a big. That might be a glitch, actually.
He's either done on purpose, and he's cocked up, or he's done that on mistake. He's meant to on intermediates.
Well, Maldi picking up another 3 position. He's going to pick up 2 more, puts him into P4, right behind J-Mo currently. But his teammate right now is in P1. He's in Dreamland. It's Side Effects, and it was a great start to the Grand Prix for him, and this safety car has hurt him. Was around 2 seconds ahead of Mad Max until this safety car came out. He's proven he has the pace in the dry, but do you think he can replicate that in the wet?
It all depends on what the preference is, and on the weather conditions, and setup as well can also play a big part on how good they're going to think they're going to be. But it's one of those things we've got to see, and also you need to think about previous experiences. But I don't think we've had many wet races in Tier 1, so Tier 3, so it's hard to say.
Sorry, just give me a second.
Big goal, I think it'll have to be another lap. Waiting for Papa Devils, as always. I wonder if these guys in the slick's going to pit for intermediates this lap or not. I don't know. But they really should pit, otherwise they'll completely cut themselves over. It's still not quite wet enough yet. Intermediates. Normally you can tell it's intermediates because you start to see the spots on the ground.
No,
start to develop.
No, I think they're already starting to develop. Actually, I am seeing a few of those happening. Also, you get the animation of the wet going onto the screen as well. So I think it is the very early stages. I feel like the slick would be a bit stronger.
It's still dry at the moment. I think. Normally, what you can tell is the way that the intermediates still look a bit.
Side Effects in the pit lane. Why is he in the pit lane?
Is the rain stopping? Is the rain going to stop soon? It's no sense intermediates.
Let's see. Why?
That's confusing. I'm confused with that.
Maybe he's used these intermediates. I don't know, but that has.
There's only one thing I can think of. He's obviously done 2 laps on them. He's obviously thought, right, I've scrubbed those tyres now. I've done a couple of laps on them. I think what he's done is come in, and then I think he wants to get these tyres to the end. I think he just wants to give himself a couple of extra fresh tyres. But you would think the intermediates can do 12, 13 laps anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see. Taman's done the exact same thing, so I'm a little confused by it, but I can see something through that. I could just see maybe he just thinks he just gives an extra couple of laps. Maybe it could make a difference. Maybe you think you can get punched territory towards the end. Like I said, I don't know how long the intermediates last around here, but normally you would think the intermediates can last about just over half race distance, maybe about 60-70% race. So I would have thought these tires could get to the end anyway. So like I said, I'm a bit baffled by that.
We did see in Tier 2, you know, just a little bit of gamble going on to the intermediates, comparing just staying onto the slicks right until the end. Actually proved out the slicks worked. So, granted, this is early on, and if you want to see an early safety car come out for Tier 1 and see what they did, you can go and reflect back on that. Some people did pit for a new set of slicks, some people didn't. The people who didn't actually got the worst of it, and the people who pitted on new tyres got the better. So I feel like the people who are pitting right now is going to have the upper hand. Some people are still staying out those mediums. I think they're just thinking, you know, this track is still dry, and actually we should just stay out on these tracks, nurture them, then come into the pit lane. And safety car is in this lap. Side effects went into the pit lane for a new set of intermediates, and now this puts Mad Max into the top spot right now. JMO following behind. Elite Ping, David, Maldi, Alpha, Chaos, Moncho, Fita, Matador, Yilmaz, Side Effects, and Simon, Papa Devils, and Memo, both out of this Grand Prix so far. Do you go in intermediates or do you stay out on the slick tyres? The answer to both those questions, to that question, will be answered right here and right now. Mad Max going to come round the last turn of the Spa circuit to restart and go green once more. Where's he going to go? And he's gone. JMO just following behind. Does he get the better exits out of that last turn to potentially look for a move into turn 1? No, he doesn't. But Maldi, of course, with that ghosting demon just up ahead, he's going to get an easy overtake, but you can just see Elite Ping pressuring JMO up ahead of him. He's got that ERS usage. He's going to use it here. Going down into Eau Rouge. He's not going to get an overtake too soon, though. You can just see that ghost, by the way, of David is just losing position after position after position. Obviously, it doesn't really matter the fact that Maldi's within a 1 second zone, considering that, you know, there's no DRS because of how wet it is. But now Alpha, look how close he's getting into Maldi. They're going to go side by side, going into the com here. Looks like the Alpha Romeo just backs out. He might have saw what happened with Memo, of Chaos, and how he spun going side by side through Maldi there. And potentially he just didn't want to replicate that and ruin his chances of getting a high position. The race and a Red Bull and an AlphaTauri have both just clattered each other. Matador going straight into Toman, and Matador both being highly affected from that. And now here we go, Maldi into the left-hander, getting very close here to Elite Ping. Elite Ping goes wide. He's not got the better grip so far on these intermediates. Maldi could look to just breeze past him, looking for that outside lane. Side by side, going into the right-hander, now going into the left-hander. Ferrari versus McLaren. They're still side by side onto the exit. Maldi has the better exit, gets the overtake. He now hunts down his championship rival JMO, but whilst JMO is looking to take victory here. What do you think's going to happen in the next few laps, Matthew?
So I just saw Elite Ping scrape that barrier on the flat out right-hander. I think he's trying to go flat out there, and his tyres just won't quite handle that. I think it's still quite slicks for the moment. Sorry, I wouldn't say pistol because it's literally distracted by him scraping that barrier. No,
well, Chaos and Elite Ping. Oh, what is that from Elite Ping? And what is that again? What is going on? And both those men going into the barriers.
I don't know why Elite Ping's trying to turn right into the pits when Chaos is side by side with him on the outside. That's confusing. I don't know why he's trying to do that. Why he didn't slow down. He doesn't try and barge your way through. Yeah, that's Elite Ping's fault. He's on the Maldonado there. Just back in, was it in 2012? Was it? He took up both Force Indias.
Well,
I think they're transitioning back to slicks here. I think it's just not getting wet, is it? It's been about good 8-9 minutes now above raining, and it's not wet. It's greasy because these slick runners are not going full speed. But it's definitely, it's just greasy, I think.
So, still, the
intermediates... Moncho's actually starting to lose time on Maldi. Actually saying that, he's just getting too intense through there. Actually, scrap that, yeah, he's just lost time. It's still slicks at the moment.
Still slicks. says Matteo, as JMO is now really getting a bit pressured here by his championship rival Maldi. Of course, Maldi having 43 points ahead of JMO going into this race. What's going to be the reply going out of this race? We'll see in the next 10 laps or so here in Spa. But so far, so good for JMO. Right now, he's closing that gap down, but it looks unlikely that he'll keep Maldi at bay, considering Maldi's pace does seem better than the Alpines. Going into the bus stop chicane, I don't think he'll catch up to him looking for an overtake, but a man who will look for an overtake is Yilmaz on Matador. Sorbos going through the right hander, the Haskar versus the Red Bull. Is it a carbon copy of what we saw with Maldi? No, it isn't. Speaking of Maldi, look how close he's getting. Going down into the bus stop chicane, going onto the exit. Mad Max into the pit lane. Maldi looking to pull alongside with Jamie potentially on the exit. Doesn't. Going into that first turn, Mad Max going into the pit lane. I'm not too sure what that's for, but Maldi looking to send it down the inside, going into the first turn, then alongside going onto the exit. A battle which would be huge for the championship, and right now JMO's winning it. Here we go, ERS used going into Eau Rouge. Of course, going side by side through Eau Rouge is very dangerous to do, and Maldi having to brake there. That just kind of shows you signs of the wetness on track. ERS being used down the camel straight here for Maldi. Look how close he's getting to JMO. Will they go side by side going into the com? Ferrari versus Alpine. They will. Side by side, Maldi and JMO go. Maldi brave on the brakes, and therefore the reply for Maldi is he takes the lead for the first time in 13 laps out of 22 here in Spa. Mafia?
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, I was distracted there for a second. I was just about to say, it's still not raining yet hard enough for the track to get wet, and I'm just really surprised it's still not gone wet enough. It gives me I think it was a race in Britain once. I think it was F1 2020 or something like that, or F1 2019. I can't remember. It was a couple of years ago, a year or two, a couple of years. Taman's, I think, span already on, and he's retired. Where it was, I think it was raining the whole race, but everyone was on slicks. It just wasn't wet enough for the intermediates. It was almost like the rain was hitting the ground and then evaporating instantly. And I wonder if something similar's happening.
And you can just see here, Rafita, look at how close he's getting to JMO going into the bus stop chicane. I mean, I don't know why he's pulled out of that so quickly. And it looks like he retires from the section.
He's crashed as well. It might be a safety car now.
That might be a safety car.
Well, it isn't, because
it
came
doesn't
up
seem
by
like
now.
it. Yeah. Well, look at that gap now. Maldi versus JMO, 1.6 seconds, just like that, with a snap of the fingers. Maldi has increased that gap to JMO by 1.8 seconds. Right now, this would put Maldi 50 points ahead of JMO. But Rafita, if he can get an overtake here on JMO, it would mean that it would go down even further. And also that gap for the championship increases dramatically. You can see the little wet spots forming onto the track now. That's what you said previously, that's when you know it's getting a bit more wet for. Yeah, it does look like it's ready for the wet compound tyres. Now those intermediates are going to come into play. Rafita, Moncho, people who stay out onto those mediums are definitely going to have a bad couple of laps. Maybe Rafita having to pull into the pit lane right now. But so far for Rafita, a podium, yes, granted he might have to pull into the pit lane to get onto some new tyres. But nevertheless, Rafita doing quite well for himself here as he's crashed on track, and that's Matador going round the Red Bull ghosting.
Yep, it's bad. He's on intermediates. Looks like it's the crossover period now. It feels like now. Just starting to feel like starting to feel see these dots forming. And Jamo's almost gone wide. Almost gonna do what Lepine did a few laps ago. Almost goes into that barrier. Funny if I managed to actually crash there once back in F1 2017 in STB once. But that's just because I lost a mirror to go into the corner, then locked up, trying to recover it, and then straight on into the barriers.
Looks like Rafita locking up there. Jimmy's in.
He doesn't think these tyres can get to the end. My Max gets the penalty. I wonder if this is going to be for slicks. I think it's just still quite dry, but it's wet. It's getting wetter now as you speak.
New intermediates.
It's slicks.
Mediums. Oh, it's mediums. That's interesting. That is interesting.
It is getting wetter.
Why?
Track's wetter. Why is it
If it's
pitted?
getting wetter, why does he go onto dry compound tyres?
I don't know. Tough one. Unless it's going to dry up soon. It's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, look at... Hold on, Rafita. I mean, no offense to Rafita, but he's clearly not as quick as Maldi, evident by the standings. But he's just gained 2/10 on the Camel Straight alone. This...
It's now. Rafita's losing a lot of time.
And now you can see side effects. It could go down the inside on Moncho going to the right-hander. Opts not to, but now he can look for it as Moncho makes a mistake. The side effects looking to penetrate said mistake, and there we go. He does. Round the outside into that left-hander, short left-hander, gets the overtake done and dusted, and looks to eye up Rafita next.
I'm really baffled why everyone's gone back onto slicks. For there's a cost. You didn't add an extra pit stop to the name. Really. It's getting wetter. It's slowly getting wetter. I feel like it's safety car.
Safety car. That really spices things up.
It does. I don't think it does anything good to Maldi though.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Because Maldi could stay out unless I don't know. It depends if his tyres is not wearing up quite quickly. Because he's done a lot of laps and dries on them. He could pit for those new set of intermediates and stay ahead. So I think that's what Maldi needs to do is pit for the new set of intermediates. Put a fresh set on, and then push to the end. Like I say, if it is going to rain, it's going to stop soon, then the only word I've got to answer that question myself is raw.
Maldi in the pit lane. Maldi in the pit lane. I'm assuming that's going to be for the new intermediates.
Yeah.
There we go, braking. Doesn't get those pesky 5 seconds. Repeat in the pit lane side effects. Basically, everyone coming into the pit lane now.
Here's new intermediates. Well done, Maldi. Sound effects is following him in. He's gone for a set of softs.
Why on earth has he done that?
A mix of tyre compounds. Some new mediums are going on. Intermediates from Moncho. Mediums from Rafita. Intermediates again from Mad Maxwell. Yeah, Jamo's stayed out, obviously. Maldi says none of these. Maldi's just come out. So that's sound effects. And Maldi's still come out in first place. And it's where? Why is Rafita go back on slicks?
Maybe they're thinking the rain will stop at the end of the safety car, then only... I mean...
If it's still raining now, you've got to think it's going to take time to then dry up then, isn't it?
I mean, if it took that long for the track to get wet in the first place, it's going to take as equal of time for it to get dry, so...
Could dry in about 2 laps' time. You don't know. But the thing is, what I always say, it's better to be on it. Better if you've got 4 laps left, and you say, let's say you have 2 laps of dry and 2 laps of wet, it's better to be on the wet tyres than the dry tyres, because if you do the wet tyre, if you're intermediates, because by the time you've done those 2 laps of intermediates, it lasts about 10 seconds, and by the time it's wet, you've gained a lot of time out and you overtake them. If you're on the slicks and in the wet conditions, you're going to lose too much time. As you can see, obviously previously, the intermediates could hold off the slick tyres not too badly. It's only a few seconds slower lap than intermediates in the dries. You can hold off.
So Maffio swaying into favour of intermediates, the wet tyres being the right choice to go of. Matazor going to round up the safety car. We'll go green once more very shortly. Well, looks like many drivers have actually picked to go green in terms of their tyres. I'm just going to check who they are. It's only 4 actually. It's only Moncho, Chaos, Max and Maldi. You've got, of course, Rafita and Jamo onto the mediums. What an undercut that is. Well, not really an undercut, is it, when you've got safety car out. But Jamo moving up some free positions, actually, due to that pit stop onto these much more softened up medium tyres. I think he'll have to stay out for 1 more lap, the safety car. I don't think Matador will catch it in time. And Maldi, I mean... I think you are right in terms of it's better to be on an intermediate compound tyre on a dry circuit than it is a slick tyre on a wet circuit. And at the same time, you gotta just think, you know, if track does dry up in the next lap or so, which is, it would be far-fetched, it is still raining. But if it somehow does, you gotta say, Rafita could actually take a win here, which would be absolutely unbelievable. I think the only concern that Maldi should have right now in this race is not to win. to just finish ahead of Jamie. If he can do that, going into next week, which is Italy, that would be a very key race for Maldi and could actually sway the championship title. But nevertheless, also speaking of Italy, and next week Monday, it is the 9-year anniversary of STB. Yes, you heard that right, folks. You are old if you've been here from the OG or from the start of season 1. You are old. Sorry, Matt, but you are. As it's been 9 years since this league has opened its doors to the world, and with that providing great action-packed content. It's the anniversary next Monday. You can join us there for Tier 1 around the Italian circuit of Monza. You can also keep up to date with all our races going live, as you can follow us right here on Twitch, and you can also follow us on Twitch, but TikTok and also YouTube, and you can join us on Discord. I'm not sure actually how. It might be through TikTok. I'm not too sure. I think if you're a good enough driver, I think Maldi will just reach out to you instead of you reaching out to him. Nevertheless, though, we will shortly round off this safety car and go green once more. But I'd like to get your opinions, Matthew, for the restart of the safety car. What do you think's going to happen? Who's going to gain positions? Who's going to lose positions? I'd like to know your predictions.
Well, first of all, Maldi will fuck off because he's on the right tyres. Montre and Kelson will find a way through. Side effects is on soft, so you might have a little bit extra grip at the moment. So you see about Rafita might have a chance to win, but if Side effects can have really good pace on those softs, and he's a quicker driver than Rafita as well, I think he has a chance, even with that penalty. I think he has a chance to win the race instead of Rafita if it does dry up. But I think at the moment in time, it seems to me I'm looking on Master on the moment. I know he's not the greatest driver to put that on compared to conditions with. It just looks a bit sketchy.
Well, we'll see. I think the safety car will actually come in.
If he catches up quickly enough, it might just trigger it. If he catches up,
yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's too late. Unfortunately, it's Matador driving. If it was Maldi driving, he would definitely caught up in time. But Matador, he always takes it a bit too steady, and plus, like I say, he's on the wrong tyres as well, which doesn't help. If he was on intermediates, I think he would probably caught up by now.
Well, there we go. Is there half the rain stopped on track? No, it's still continuing.
Raining. I can still see the. Let's just look at the halo. I do. And it's still wet.
Full
laps. Still getting wetter.
You've got to say, Matt, 4 laps left to go. There's no point in pitting on some new tyres now. Absolutely no point. You might as well just keep intermediates, and probably actually yes. Well, yeah, but that I think Rafita, JMO Side effects. I think they might have just read the weather control and be like, oh, it's drying up to the end. I'll pit around now. Make sure get those dries to the end, get the better ending of the race. But I think in doing that, they're actually under-predicting or underestimating how slow it takes for the track to not only get wet, but also to go back to dry.
Yeah, to be honest, I've seen things where people have committed to slicks and hope it's not gets too wet towards the end and try and make it on slicks having to pit for intermediates. I've seen people stay on intermediates and stay on slicks and get to the end of the race while it's drying up, and then people on the slicks can't catch up because the intermediates actually still work pretty well in a dry. And then it's still gone on one, even though it's been like 5 laps in the dry conditions. But I've never seen it where there's been a mixed tyres of intermediates, softs, and mediums, and a set of hards, and under a safety car, and it's raining. And I've never seen everyone just stay out on the tyres they've all been on, regardless what tyres they've been on.
And you've also got to say,
it looks dry in this part of the circuit. I don't know if it's just you.
Yeah, it does look
dry here.
Maybe
it doesn't look wet at all. Is it drying up? It stops raining.
It stopped raining.
It stops raining.
I've still got water particles on the screen for me.
Yeah, again a little bit, but I look at the. It could be a bit of spray that could, but I look on the cars. There's no rain on the cars anymore. There's no more water droplets, and I think Maldi is fucked.
Safety car is in this lap. Drama with the safety car right up until the end of this race, and of course, with the track drying up, it has dried up literally perfectly in time for Rafita, who could potentially get his first victory in STB, which would be unbelievable. JMO as well would be very key going into next week. into Monza. Side effects also onto those softs, very key as well. He can also take victory, but keeping in mind that 3-second time penalty, I doubt he will. But here we go though, track has officially dried up. Wet tyres for Maldi, pretty much everybody else, except for Chaos, Mad Max and Alpha on the slick tyres, and we go green once more, and it seems like people are diving into the pit lane. Those are all people who previously went on to the intermediates.
And Side Effects is
And look at that, round the outside, Side Effects looking for a 2-for-1 price, like a meal deal.
Yeah.
And Tesco, but no, he's not going to get the overtake very previously on JMO, and it looks like people are actually pitting for the slicks right now. Maldi just has to hold off around 3 laps or so here. It's such a long track like Spa, wet tyres. Rafita, Rafita, look at the pace he's got. Maldi, I mean, this is going to be... Whilst Rafita is definitely slower than Maldi, you've got to get it in Rafita's bag to actually win this race.
Yeah, the track is still going to be a little bit greasy, so he's still going to take that into account. But I think so. Rafita's just been a bit slow at the moment. He's getting overtaken by Jamo now, and this is hurting Side Effects as well on those soft tyres. But Maldi, I think Maldi, all it is survive. And yeah, Rafita's getting eased up now. Rafita just doesn't have the pace of these two at all. And just like I said, Side Effects is on those soft tyres, and Maldi, I think he's about to lose. I think he might still get a podium here, but it's pushing now. You've got people like Yilmaz as well, also on the set softs, not too far behind.
Just look at that grip that Gemma has compared to Maldi, looking for an easy switch back. Maldi looking to battle with him, huge for the championship. And I don't think he's going to win the battle. And it looks like Maldi's down into P2. That is very unlucky for Maldi, and also for the other people pitting, who has to pit onto the other slick tyres. I feel like Maldi just having P2 right now is actually really good, and something he'll actually, probably looking back on this, will probably enjoy actually getting. The Side Effects is going to be quite eager to try and get past, and I thought Maldi was going to go into the pit lane for a second. It looks like,
but I think he knows if he pits, he's going to lose more than he's actually going to gain.
I think what he's trying to do here, Maldi's trying to actually get the DRS, get the slipstream off of Side Effects on purpose, so that he can just tow him until the end. Well, yeah, but next lap he will. If he can just stay with him on this.
He won't stay with him on second. His tyres, first his tyres are going to start overheating, and they're on slicks. It's going to be very difficult for Maldi to stay within DRS. And before he even gets a chance to do that, he's going to get overtaken by Alpha Z, and maybe even Rafita.
Well, Rafita's ahead of Alpha Z. So.
And Rafita's probably going to get overtaken by Alpha Z first, probably.
Well, we'll see. Late drama here in Belgium. You can see instantly Maldi just 1 second away.
There goes Alpha Z around the outside of Rafita. I did say.
And there we go. That's a bold move there from Alpha Z. But look at the grip he has on those soft compound tyres. Illegal overtake, and Rafita is able to get his position back. Look at Side Effects though, battling it out with JMO. If Side Effects spins JMO or something like that. Whoa, Side Effects, what is that? He's accidentally hooked up onto the outside curb there, drifting like he was skateboarding for a second with this car. Very lucky to not spin. Gets a 6-second time penalty due to it.
Rafita spun.
Yeah, Rafita being spun.
With the two teammates and Alpha Z, I think.
That's a sigh of relief for Maldi at the moment. 1.2 seconds is now the gap between Yilmaz versus Maldi. And you can see the sun's out. Maldi is, I mean, this was always very hard to predict.
He's a bit beached now, I could say. It's not, and DRS is now enabled. DRS has actually been enabled, but I think it's lap 4, yep. I think the rain was thinking it got enabled because of the weather. No, it's been enabled because it's been 2 laps. So Maldi is going to be a bit screwed.
Well, Side Effects here looking for the move on Jimmo into Eau Rouge. They go on the X of Eau Rouge, going into Rally on now the Camel Straight. DRS will be wide open. He's going to burn out that ERS. And of course, it would be a miracle if he could win this. Maybe Jimmo spins, maybe can't keep his nerve. But here we go. They pull alongside of each other, side by side, no longer, into the com.
There goes Yilmaz.
Side Effects gets the overtake, and Yilmaz gets an overtake on Maldi. Maldi just getting absolutely destroyed due to, comparing it to the dry runners. I feel like even just picking up P6 right now would be just perfect for him.
Matador's not going to catch him, I don't think. But,
look at that massive mistake there from Maldi, and now Alpha Z looks to that inside lane. of Maldi now outside going into that left-hander. Maldi brave on the brakes, therefore is able to re-overtake him into the turn, or the exit of the said turn. No, it looks like Alpha Z didn't have the pace, and look at the grip compared to Maldi. That is, I mean, it's just ridiculous how much more grip Alpha Z had.
I'm not surprised. Maldi's tires are probably overheating now at this point.
Yeah, Maldi, he's been royally effed by the game.
It's one of those things. To me, it's fine for a few laps, but after a while, when the tire temperatures do start to get too high, you can see he's understeering now. Yeah, his tires are, I think, getting overheating now. He's really starting to struggle as those tires do start to overheat. You can stand for a few laps, they're good, but after a while, you do need to start having some wet patches to cool them down. But obviously, there isn't any. It's all been evaporated.
Well, last lap of the Spa-Francorchamps Grand Prix so far, and a horror pit stop from Maldi means that JMO right now is leading the Grand Prix whilst he is only second.
Effectively,
a 6-second time penalty from side effects means that he is leading the Grand Prix. In the moment in time, maybe he spins going into some next few turns, maybe he can't keep his nerve and therefore spinning down positions, but I don't think he will. He's kept his nerve for almost the entirety of this Spa circuit. He's not been necessarily a massive highlight in this race. He hasn't been involved in many overtakes and many battles, but he's just kept it clean, kept it good. No, the softs of side effects kind of wobbling about.
Yeah, they're going to
start fading away. There. Left hand up. Well, really, Maldi's just hoping a prone that Jamie will spin, making sure that he can't close down any more gaps to the championship. But I don't think his prayers will be answered. I think going into Monza, it's pretty much it's literally massively key that Maldi's able to extend the gap again. Whilst yes, the 43 points does look as an extremely comfortable gap, when you take into account the amount of races we have left, it doesn't necessarily feel like a very safe, pillow to sit on. And the relaxation of Maldi will definitely start to dwindle down as Gemma will come round the last few turns of the Belgian circuit. Round the last turn for JMO, he picks up 25 points in the Spa-Francorchamps Grand Prix, and JMO also getting the fastest lap. That is 26 points on the board. Never mind, Alpha Z gets the fastest lap instead. But I don't think JMO will care, considering he's now closed down that gap to Maldi in the championship. Maldi finishes 5th out of all of that, and that's a very key race for the title.
Yeah, I think Maldi, was this one of the times now Maldi would say, championship over.
Yeah, definitely will. It's about 15 points that JMO has gained there. So that is going to be the gap now. That's 28 points going into Monza. Like I said, it's not necessarily a very, it's a false sense of security, those 43 points. Now, if he does gain a few more points on Maldi, he could be within distant of actually overtaking him in the championship. So we'll see what happens. It's one of those days for Maldi that he'll live to regret if he does actually lose this championship battle to JMO. Here were the final results. Hold on. We need to actually just skip the cutscenes. And there we go. There's the final results of the Spa circuit of the Belgian Grand Prix. JMO finishing P1 and Yilmaz finishing P2, Sodefex P3, Alpha Z P4, Maldi P5, Ratazor P6, Ziva P7, Mocho P8, Chaos P9, Mad Max P10, Rafita P11, Elite Ping P12, Semen P4, 13, Papa P14 and Memo P15. That rounds off our Belgian Grand Prix, but we still have interviews left to do. We will invite JMO into the party as well as Side Effects to do these interviews. They might not, though. It's completely up to them. They're not forced to by any means. We'll see if they join or if they won't. Also, Matthew, after we do these interviews, it's probably worth just actually putting the party on joinable. But there we go, 27 seconds until the end of what, well, it's already ended, but a fantastic race here once more in STB. And right now, the headline is JMO closing down that gap on Maldi for the championship. And speaking of JMO himself, He has just joined the party. Jamie, make sure you can include audio, please. And Jamie, a man of very few words, but I would just like to get your take on that Belgian Grand Prix with the late drama of that safety car coming out and that difficult weather. What was your thoughts going under the safety car or pitting onto those dry tyres? Did you feel a little bit doubtful that you'd
I didn't
have
put
a
on
dry
the safety
circuit?
car on the slicks. I pitted
Oh, did
literally
you?
like the lap before,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
you did. It was most people. Yep.
and then it came out at the wrong time, and I thought I fucked it. And then after
Yeah.
that, it looked wet, so the Inters looked better. I was very close to pitting back on the Inters as well. But
Well, thankfully you didn't make that silly
thank
mistake, and you were able to get to the victory here. A very key victory for yourself. We've also got Maldi inside of the party, and of course, Maldi are going to be very upset with such.
Any questions?
All right then. It doesn't seem like we've had who is it? Side effects. Side effects not joining the party. So, Matthew, have you got a question for JMO?
No. Well, first of all, say side effects. Yeah, side effects is not joining because his mic is apparently his mic is broken. So yeah, I've got nothing to it. But yeah, it was an interesting one. That's for sure. Obviously with the weather. Apart from that, I'm a bit baffled, to be honest. But yeah,